lovelies, to the Ultimate Dance Business Podcast. My name is Deborah Laws, the dance business expert. My passion is to help you turn your passion into profit while guiding you to work less and earn more. I'm super excited to share interviews with you that I know will inspire and motivate you in your schools, as well as my solo shows where I shall be sharing some great tips and strategies. So if you love the show, please do remember to review, subscribe, and share it with your fellow dance boss friends. So let's get stuck into the business of dance. Hello, everybody. We are going to talk today about trust, being a control freak, and letting go via delegation. Now, some of you may chuckle when I spot you out here and say, I see you if you are somebody that won't let anyone else come and teach in your school, or won't let anybody else do the admin or write the newsletter or do the social media because you're terrified that they're not going to do it well, that they won't do it as well as you. And if it's around teachers, that they may come and teach for you and steal all your students. Who out there has just spotted themselves? Who's like, yes, I haven't really grown my school much bigger because I have real issues, real trust issues around teachers, or I'm struggling like mad to keep all the admin, doing all the admin, because I just think it's going to take me twice as long to delegate, and somebody else is going to need a whole bunch of training and I don't have time to do that. Like, these things that I'm talking about here are all potential disasters in themselves. You may think that you're doing what is right to protect your school and keep your business going well, but actually what you could be doing is completely stifling it, because your school can only get to a certain size with only you behind the helm. Imagine yourself inside a box, a cardboard box with a lid on it, and you're inside with your students and your parents. You can keep filling those students and parents, but until you allow your box to expand, and I mean expand by bringing in more people to help. So the more help you have, the bigger the box you can take on. If you don't grow your box, your students and your pupils, and maybe if you have the odd teacher, are just going to get really stifled. You're going to run out of oxygen inside this box. And then you've got all those beautiful people out there that would love to come to your school, but you just don't have room, either because you have a waiting list or because you're not doing the marketing, so people aren't seeing you. The reason you're not doing the marketing is because you're so busy, because you're a one-man band, et cetera, et cetera. Like, there's a lot of reasons why your school will not be fulfilling its potential if you are determined to keep it just you. Now, I ran a studio for 25 years. I had multiple studios. I had 5 schools across 3 counties. I had over 900 students. I had a team of 24, I think, at one point, between teachers, marketing, office managers, cleaners. There were about 24 of us altogether at the height of my studio. It would never, ever, ever have got beyond 1 studio had I not been prepared to take off the lid of the box and get a bigger box and bring people in to help me. And here's the thing. I would love to be able to turn around and say to you, I got my bigger box and everything was perfect. The school grew, I earned lots more money, and I just kept building my team and getting a bigger box, and I just earned more and more money. Well, actually, no, it wasn't as straightforward as that. I had 4 times I had teachers that left and started up classes, and I lost a lot of students. So those of you that have that fear, I hear you. It's a real fear, and it does happen. But here's the thing. When it was happening at a time when I hadn't learned about business. I hadn't gone and studied and researched best business practices. And therefore, it happened because of things that I was doing wrong. It happened and I didn't know how to deal with it. It happened and I allowed it to get to be as bad as it was. Nowadays, I would be able to teach you a whole bunch of stuff that A, stopped it happening in the first place, B, helped you to deal with it so that you really minimize the effects, and C, got your head in the mindset where you were able to cope with that as well. So yes, these things happen, but there's also ways in which you can really minimize it to the extent that it's way worse to not have teachers, in other words, stopping you growing, than it is having the things in place to protect you if it does happen. Like the consequences, I think, of what I'm trying to say is worse you not growing a team than just, growing the team and becoming great at how to manage that situation. In terms of administration, permission here to become a little bit harsh on you all. I hear you've given me permission. Wonderful. Thank you. It's great doing a podcast. You can't hear what anyone says. Okay. When it comes to admin, here's the hard truth. It is factually incorrect to assume that nobody can do your school's admin as well as you. In fact, there are people out there that would do it potentially a lot better than you, and not just better, but a lot quicker as well. Some of you may be great at certain aspects of the admin in your school, but not great at others. And therefore, those things that take you a lot longer are taking up heaps of your time. Whereas someone that really knows how to do that task could do it at the flip of a switch. They could have the job done in 5-10 minutes, and it might have taken you an hour. And the problem is the whole time you're spending an hour or 2 hours on a task that another professional could spend 15 minutes on, you could have been spending your time on those top class tasks, those big tasks that the studio owner, the dance school principal should be doing. Instead, you're in there weeding your garden because you don't think that there could possibly be another gardener out there that can pull out weeds as well as you. And I use that scenario because I'm not saying that you should delegate big things like planning your next year's marketing or deciding on, your show themes or working on your strategy for retention. Like, I wouldn't pass those things on to an administrator. That is your job. But things like booking your halls and doing your social media and answering emails and creating invoices, that's the weeding the garden bit. And you 100% can teach somebody else how to weed that garden. Now, I would love to invite you to the Dance Business Conference, which is held in Birmingham in the UK. This is a wonderful 2-day event where you are going to listen to some incredible keynote speakers. You're going to do some workshopping. You're going to learn lots of new things around running your dance school. You're going to meet lots of exhibitors that have businesses that could be great for you to work with. But more importantly, we're going to make friends, we're going to have fun, and we're going to hang out together, all learning how to be inspired and motivated to run a better school. And of course, we also have the Gala Dinner Dance, which is the red carpet event of the year for dance school owners, where we present the Dance Business Awards. So if you would like to exhibit or sponsor the conference, if you would like to attend or enter the Dance Business Awards, then please go to www.dancebusinesssolutions.com, where you can buy your tickets, find out more information, and hopefully come join me on the 8th and 9th of August. See you there. Now, that doesn't mean to say it's going to be super quick, and it doesn't mean to say you're going to show someone once and it's going to be done. What's important here is that you create the process for this. You create a document or a video or you create an asset that basically shows and explains to someone how to do it. I think the worst thing you can do is sit someone down at the computer next to you and say, let me just show you, and you give them some training for half an hour, and then you walk away and you expect that person to know how to do that task, not make any mistakes, do it beautifully. And in your head, you've taught them that thing. You've moved on to the next thing. But they're just hearing it for the first time. It might be something they've never done before or software they've never used before. They're going to come to that task in a few hours or a few days or the next week. And they're going to be like, how did I do this? And they've got nothing to go back on. They've got no reference book. They've got no instruction manual. They've got no videos they can look up on YouTube. They're really in the dark. And then they think, oh gosh, she's already taught me how to do this. And I feel dreadful asking her to sit down for another half an hour and show me all over again. I should have remembered. I should have written better notes. I'll just have a go. And that's where the mistakes happen. That's where things go wrong. And then that proves you right. You see, Deborah, I tried to delegate that thing and it all went horribly wrong. I just as well do it myself. That wasn't actually that person's fault, was it? It was your fault for not creating the assets and the process fully so that that person could do their job really well. And you always know when you've done it really well because that person never needs to come back and ask you again. So how do you create your process? How do you create this asset? Well, there's loads of ways. There's no right or wrong way. I used to do a mixture. I did like a checklist. I did a document where I'd write it all out, but then I also created a video. So I'd just go into my Zoom account, record a video, screen share, show them where the buttons were, how to do this, how to do that, press stop, download it. And then I would pop it into a folder where the person could go and find that training. And it's great because they can go back and watch it 2 or 3 times. They can watch it as many times as they like. Like I've created trainings for my PA, my husband, and I go into the office next door and he's there watching a little training from something I did 6 months ago because he couldn't quite remember how to do that bit on the end. And he just watches it back. He doesn't have to come in and disturb me and say, oh, Deb, can you show me how to do that thing again? Where I get frustrated because I know I've already shown him and he gets embarrassed because he's got to come and ask me for the 3rd time. Because as you know, some of these tasks we only do once a term or once a year. He just goes into his folder. He finds the relevant topic. He picks that out. There's the training, watches it. Bob's your uncle, off he goes. So I really do think it's down to you taking the time to create an absolute idiot-proof guide to entering kids for exams or to asking your team for content for the newsletter and then creating the newsletter or the idiot's guide to creating an invoice on your software. Like there are hundreds, aren't there? There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tasks that you could document or video. You're not going to do them all at once. 100% you're not going to do them all at once. But here's my bit of advice for you today. Write down, if I was to delegate 10 small admin tasks that I currently do myself, that I would give to somebody else if I took on my first administrator, or if you already have an administrator that's willing to do more hours, what are 10 small things that I'm still doing that I could delegate because my administrator wants more hours that I haven't let go of yet because I'm too terrified? Make a list of those 10 things. And then I want you to put them into priority and just start with your top 3 and go about creating your top 3 processes. The first things you would love to get rid of if you could. And then make those processes, pop them in a folder. Now, here's the great thing. You can do this before you've even started hiring someone. I've got someone at the moment who is busy creating all her little mini assets for the administrator that she's going to start looking for in the next 6 months. So when she does the advertising, she's got a really clear idea of the task that person's going to do. Plus, they've all been created and made, and they're all ready to onboard her when, or him, or they, or them, when they come to work in the studio. It's already done. This is just a tip of the iceberg. Delegating and letting go of some of that control freakness that I know some of us have got, and some of you struggle with. It's all about how well you train this person. Train them well enough and they'll do it well enough. Now, that was around delegation for admin. I also talked about being able to trust your teachers. So how do we trust team members? Well, I feel like this is another whole episode. But initially, I think I just want to say to you, In fact, I will make it another whole episode, so you can watch out for this one. But I'm just going to say briefly, if you create a working environment and a relationship with your team that is so strong because there's so much in it for that person to work for you, they learn and grow so much, as well as just being paid their hourly teaching rate, then they are less likely, I won't say 100% because it has happened to me, but they're less likely to do the dirty on you if they have built up that high level of respect. The other thing is we also need to build the same strong bonds and relationships with our students. And people worry that when they're not teaching every single student, they'll lose that personal relationship. And that's when they might lose students if a teacher sets up. Yes, of course, that absolutely does happen. But if you have made sure, even if you don't teach all the children, that you're still very present in your school, that you show up on social media doing Facebook Lives, that you create additional events throughout the year where you can attend and see the students, that you reach out to all your students and families, whether it's a quick voice message, a little short video, a little email, now and again, you reach out to people just to say, hi, it's Deborah, I'm checking in. How is she doing in her classes? I know I'm not teaching Emily at the moment, but I wanted to just see if she's great. When you're building all these little opportunities to build really strong relationships with your students and families, even if you don't teach them, they're not going to leave when their teacher goes somewhere else. They're going to bid that teacher farewell. They're going to be disappointed that they've left, but it's you that they have their loyalty to. It's you that they're going to want to stay in. And it's not even just you as a person, it's the school as a brand, as a business that they feel highly attached to. So I'm going to do a whole other episode on this at some point, but I just wanted to kind of throw that out there today. You've got to trust that you've built your relationship and the school's relationship with students so that they will stay if a teacher decides to leave. You've got to nurture your teachers so they don't want to leave. And when it comes to delegating your admin, you've got to be able to trust that you can create the processes for them. So that was just a couple of things today, just to help those of you that class yourself as control freaks. And when I asked all my members the other day, who here is a control freak, you'd be amazed. The whole Zoom room had hands up here, there, and everywhere. And I created a whole training on delegation and how to go about that. But I just thought there were a few things that I would throw out there for you today as well, my love. Okay, I hope you found that helpful. It's all about being able to let go in order to grow. Take the lid off your box, let the walls come down, and start welcoming people in to help you reach more beautiful little humans through your dance school. It's your duty. It's what you were put here for. Take care. Speak to you soon. So I wanted to quickly tell you a little bit about Showtime Circus. This is run by my good friend, Jess, who has created an incredible circus bolt-on franchise for your dance school. Because aerial and circus performance skills has become a really desirable skill set for choreographers and casting directors. And so Showtime Circus offers the opportunity to buy a franchise package, which will give you all of your necessary equipment, training from experienced staff, syllabus plans, ongoing support, and business support to launch your new franchise. It will really energize your school with increased revenue streams, new student opportunities, and of course, bring all the fun of the circus to your school. So do go and visit showtimecircus.co.uk to find out what the new buzz is around circus skills.